Content creation, a topic that is dramatically taken over many of our lives, whether that's creating content or consuming it. Now, 10 years ago, this wasn't necessarily the case, with 15 million content creators as opposed to 200 million today. 2 million of those earning a six-figure income annually, purely from content creation alone. My name's Jack Watson, and I run Jack Watson Designs. I'm a 22-year-old graphic designer based in Manchester, and today I'm going to be talking to you about how content creation has dramatically changed my career path. But first, I'd like to go back 9 years ago, when I first started my content creation journey. I was completely obsessed with the game FIFA as a 13-year-old high school student. And if you're familiar with the game, you'll know that it's every child's dream to have one of these, the very own FIFA card. So after following my curiosity, I found out that the only way that I could make it look like this was by learning the foundations of Photoshop. So that's exactly what I did. I spent the next 2 years creating these football edits where I'd create custom FIFA cards and I'd poorly Photoshop footballers to make it look like they played for different teams. And this did really well. I mean, I got 10,000 followers in the short space of 2 years, which was quite a lot for a 15-year-old kid. So that takes us to 5 years ago, when I actually sold that account for just £35 to ironically buy that FIFA game. So I had to wait for my next opportunity. By now, lockdown was in full force, and I just completely lost my passion for FIFA, obviously, and I was completely starved of teenage nights out because it was in lockdown. So I decided to create a page around festivals and electronic music. And again, this did really well. Within 90 days, I'd already accumulated 55,000 followers, and I was starting to see how powerful of a tool Reels could actually be. But it was clear during COVID that there was just no real way to monetize this. So I waited a couple of years until I started my first side hustle whilst working my 9 to 5 as an accountant, called Blau. And the concept behind Blau was basically bringing DJs from all across the world and all across the country and really try to leverage that following that I built up. We knew a lot of people in Preston, but we had absolutely no idea about the music industry, how to convert venues into nightclubs, and even building a brand. But regardless, we thought we'd give it a go anyway, and we got really, really lucky. The first DJ that we booked managed to get into the top 40 music charts, which is completely heard of for electronic music. So now what was most likely going to be a poor turnout first event in a bingo hall in Preston with 1,000 capacity turned out to be a complete sellout first night. And this worked in our favour massively. We built some huge momentum off the back of this, and we did another event on New Year's Eve, which again sold out in Preston, selling 1,000 tickets. And then we decided to take the events to Manchester, where we were doing them in Joshua Brooks, just around the corner from here. And across the 2 years, we had some amazing nights, and I started to do all of the artworks for our events, and this naturally led to me building a clientele within the music industry, as the DJs that we were booking would like our graphics, and they were often asking me to create album artworks, event covers, and even merchandise designs. So I started to build a bit of a clientele, but unfortunately, towards the back end of the second year, cost of living just got completely out of hand, and we had to just cancel the events because they weren't becoming profitable enough. So back to square one. I'm working my 9 to 5 as an accountant, wondering if there's any way that I can squeeze more money out of design. And that's when I started Jack Watson Designs. The concept behind this was to post every single day for 365 days in the hope to acquire more design work in other industries. By day 6 again, I got quite lucky. There's a common theme here, it's just me striking luck all the time. And the video that I posted about a new Illustrator feature got 6 million views on just day 6, and this really kick-started my page. It was a true indicator that this viral feature at the minute would really work, so I doubled down on this content, and I scaled the page to 30,000 followers in just the first 30 days. So now, off the back of this, I had 2 huge inquiries come through. One from Jack Wills, and the other one from Zara, which is still my favourite project to this day. It involved creating a 3D logo for the Love and Pride and New Year campaign, which would later be put across every single store in the whole world. So by now I'd built up a little bit of community, and it was great because I could finally interact with them, and I had people from all around the world sending me my work on their local Zara store, which was just so cool. So the next few months consisted of creating lots of brand identity projects, creating lots of content, but still working my 9 to 5. And it took me until October to actually hit my first £20,000 month, which was crazy. To put that into context, that was like my entire year wage as a junior accountant. And filled with excitement in October, handed in my notice, quit with immediate effect, and continued my passion for design full time, which was cool. So in between then and now, there's been a few more milestones. In January, I went on a first business trip to Germany, which was cool. In April, I went to Barcelona to Adobe, which was amazing. And that takes me to today, where I'm presenting my first public speaking event, which I'm incredibly proud of. Thank you. Thank you. But I don't want to just stand on the stage and act like every month was perfect and it was all brilliant and look at me, because there was so many times of uncertainty. There was record low numbers after record high months in terms of revenue. So I thought it'd be useful to share with you some of the mistakes I made along the way, in case you want to avoid them for your content creation journey. So the first one was I posted too wide a variety of content. The second, my page wasn't optimized for sales. The third, I took on too many sponsorships. The fourth, I stayed in my comfort zone for way too long. And the fifth, for a short period of time, I focused on quality rather than volume in terms of short form content, which ultimately led to a drop in engagement and a drop in leads. So let's have a look at the first one. Posting a wide variety of content confused my audience. And this was because I had no real plan when I was starting. I would post everything from 3D designs, as you've just seen, to brand identity content, to graphic design tutorials. And this meant that although videos could do well in either of these sectors, it meant that if somebody had come for a 3D post, then a brand identity post wasn't going to resonate with them, and it just had a poor quality of followers throughout because people weren't engaging with every post, and it was ultimately just affecting my engagement. The next one, my page wasn't optimized for sales, which potentially cost me thousands. And the reason why I say this is because it was only after 15 million views that I put an email in my bio, I had a link in the description to a website, and that I even showed people that I was available for services. So I don't want to think about how much money I lost there, because it was probably too much, and I've got a tear come out my eye. Next, I took on too many sponsorships, which temporarily killed my engagement. Now, this is the funny one, because when you're trying to leave your 9 to 5, you're so inclined to take every single deal that comes through. But most often than not, if you start getting traction on your posts and start getting views, you're going to have a lot of rubbish companies asking to do collaborations with you. And you might be desperate to get that extra bit of cash in, but this can just completely kill your engagement. And more importantly, lose the trust of your followers. And if you're trying to sell to them in the future, that's just not going to be good at all. It's not going to buy from you. But not only that, I went about 6 months into my content creation journey as a completely faceless account. And that meant I just posted tutorials with text over the top and some music. And every time I did a sponsorship, I'd put my face and my voice into these videos because I had to. And that trained my audience to not engage anytime they saw my face or heard my voice, which made it really hard when I then made that step into actually putting me into my content, because they just weren't engaging with it at first. The next one, I stayed in my comfort zone, which held me back from my full potential. Now, for some reason, I was completely petrified to put me into my videos. And I don't know why this is, but I think we get in our own heads and we can be our worst enemy. But I had thoughts of, what if people don't like the way that I sound, that I talk, that I look, what if the clients won't work with me because of my age? They were all thoughts that just fly through my brain, stopping me from reaching my full potential. But I can confidently say, as soon as I did start putting me into my videos, my revenue went up significantly. So you really can't let that hold you back if that is one thing that is holding you back when creating content. The next one, I focused on quality rather than volume, which caused a drop in my engagement. Now, this was a weird one. This was after a record high month in February where I just had the best month ever, and I thought, now it's time to start only posting high quality reels. And what I mean by this is, I was taking about 3 hours to create a reel, and I thought that wasn't good enough. You're constantly comparing yourself with other people, and I thought, I'm going to start spending 3 to 4 days and just put out really high quality reels. And the problem with this is that we can't decide what does well on social media. And the algorithm works in its weird and wonderful ways. So you might spend 4 days on a reel and it do absolutely rubbish, and you've just essentially wasted 4 days, whereas you could put out 7 volume posts, 1 or 2 of them do really well, and you're essentially driving way more traffic to your website than if you were just to focus on quality. So this worked for me. It might not work for everyone, but it was definitely a mistake I made in that month because I wasn't getting any leads through. So if I was to start over from scratch, here's what I would do. First of all, I'd identify my personal brand. Second, optimize my page. Third, I'd only pick collaborations wisely. Rule of thumb, if you're not going to use the software yourself, don't promote it at all. I'd step out of my comfort zone earlier. The opportunities are completely endless when you start putting you into your videos. And it's not only that, that's what's going to really stand you out from all of the other design pages out there. People are not only going to love your designs, but they're also really going to take to you as well, which gives you that extra value. And finally, most importantly, staying consistent and constantly trying to evolve. This is a huge one. It's like going to the gym. We wish we could all go to the gym every day and get really strong and really big, but it is really hard. And it's the exact same with social media. If you stay consistent, you post all the time, you're constantly analysing what works and what doesn't, you will definitely see results. So yeah, unfortunately I've only got 10 minutes to actually go through this, but hopefully you found some sort of value from this. If you want to follow me on Instagram, that's my Instagram. But I wish you all the best of luck if you do go down the content creation journey. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Thank you very much.